just having a party. So it's cool that we'll all get to bring our ideas to this process. I've set up a basic skeleton to the main things that we have to take into consideration these next 2 months in planning this, but this isn't my event. This is our event. So if it's a success, it'll be our success. If it's a miserable failure, it will be our miserable failure. But the thing that I told them when we had the March against Monsanto in May is, regardless, we're gonna have a cool ass party. Sorry. We're gonna have a cool party. So let's get that part out of our mind. We won't have a cool party that night. We already have things in place to actually try to tackle this issue in our state. So let's try to make the coolest party that we possibly can. We'll start off. I'm going to be the facilitator. Julio is the guy with the camera. He's going to be the videographer. We're going to do a little bit different than Occupy Tucson or other different groups, where instead of having a note taker, we're just going to video it. So that way we know exactly what was said, who said what, and there's no confusion.
I have a wife a court reporter. She would record for you.
Stenographer?
Well, it's just a court reporter. She actually does that stuff.
And then stacker, we're going to have Anthony be stacker. What a stack is, if you have something to say, just go ahead and raise your hand. He'll let everybody know when it's their turn to talk. That way everybody's not cross-talking, talking over each other. We can actually stay linear with things. And then, are you going to come out here, John? And John Cooper, I'm going to have him. What we have is just a vibes keeper. If for some reason we start yelling and get in a real argument over something, I like GMOs, you don't, whatever it may be, John will step in and he'll say, hey guys, it's cool, let's maybe change the subject, talk about something different. Okay, so let's go through first with some positive group interaction, and we'll start by saying our names, how many years we've been in Tucson, and what our goal is for this March Against Monsanto Tucson. I'll start it off. I'm John McClain. I've been in Tucson for about 15 years, and my goal with this, especially more than last event, is to get a whole bunch of people in one place so that we can get as many signatures for our petition as we possibly can, and start getting people involved in the process of actually, one, labeling GMOs, and then banning GMOs would be the ideal next step, at least the cultivation. Julio.
Introduction.
Yeah, your name, how many years you've been in Tucson, and what's your goal for this March Against Monsanto event?
I'm Julio. I've been here born and raised. Been here for about 17 years. And I'd like to see more awareness spread with this little march that we're doing here. Pretty much.
John Underhill, been in Tucson since 1980. That would be 33 years. My goal is kind of broader than this, but get people to be more self-reliant, empower themselves. Our power's been taken away from us. I want to see people get the power back. But as part of it is education. I like to educate people about what I know about GMOs and just some of the logical things about it. And of course, sign the petition. That's about it.
Anthony, thank you, John.
My name's Anthony Potter. I've been in Tucson for about 5 years, although I grew up here. And what I want to get out of this is to empower the people and to get more awareness out there, to get more people understanding about sustainable energy and how to make the right big choices is about whether to purchase GMO products or not.
Good, thank you. Andrew.
My name's Daniel. I am just kind of getting into activism, and one of the things that I have as a goal is to just call attention to the inadequacies of the status quo in general. And I think this is just one aspect of the status quo that we need to be focusing on because it's our food and it's very intimate. So I'm just going to try to wake people up a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you. Caleb.
Kayla. I was born and raised in Tucson, moved away, came back. Became really aware about GMOs when I
Cody Radish. I was in Tucson about 2 years, lived in Arizona 15, on and off. I just want to create awareness, get people more aware of just where our food comes from. I got into it selling and making kombucha tea, and selling it across the country. And kombucha, you know, living bacteria, enzyme, probiotic, fermented tea, you know, and it's really funky looking, and you drink it and it makes you feel really good and you feel amazing, and you give it to other people and they make it and drink it, and it's just a whole network of awareness and people promoting healthy living, and it's a nice community environment, you know, with the kombucha. So I don't know, just everybody, you know, we're all connected, you know, so even our food, plants, animals, and everything. So we gotta keep it, you know, in our power. That's for sure. Not give it to these corporations. Tell us what's in our food.
Sure. All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so we'll, seems like there's going to be 3 main parts that we'll be keeping in mind in preparing this. We have the location, we have the activities that we'll be doing, and then we have the route. Actually, 4 main parts because we have sponsors as well. We'll start off with the first topic, which will actually be the date, location, and the time. So far, I've called around, and the only park that's available within a shot range of downtown is Vianza Park. I would like for it to be as close to downtown as possible. I was hoping to march on City Hall, but it's just open. We'll open up the stack, and everybody kind of lend your ideas of what you'd like to see.
What do you think is important about City Hall as a location?
Well, I'd say as far as marching on City Hall, I couldn't think of any other location that we should be marching on. And that might just be a simple, my ignorance to who Monsanto directly has their hands on, or maybe Monsanto has some type of organization here in Tucson, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
If we stepping in the faces of our city government and expecting them to step up, you know, this next
Yeah.
best thing I can think of.
Yeah. I just think marching where ordinary people like you and me can see the movement is the most important thing.
Well, Tucson Meet Yourself is that day as well. So
Oh,
we'll
right.
be
Well, that's
we'll be
good.
marching right into the gut of Tucson Meet Yourself.
Oh, right on.
Okay. Well, now you're talking.
I tried.
Now, I'm just kind of curious, how do you deal with the Tucson Meet Yourself? Do you plan with them? Do you let them know that we're coming, or how does that work?
We're gonna let the park and rec department know, but in my experience with Tucson Meet Yourself, they're not usually very cooperative. If
Yeah.
anything, they're obstructionistic.
I suspect they're going to cut you off or try to.
Yeah, but the way I see by superseding them being able to cut us off is I should just get a permit for Deanza Park and not let them know where it's gonna march, and just march.
So, you don't think they'll find out?
That we're gonna have a march, that we're gonna march?
Yeah.
Maybe. Go ahead.
Even if they did find out, they wouldn't legally be allowed to stop us. They can't stop us from, apparently, like this crazy thing with the law, whenever it comes to First Amendment rights, the government can never take action to curtail the First Amendment rights. It has to wait until violations occur and then police them. So even if they did know that we were going to march, they couldn't stop us. They would have to wait until we actually did march before they could do anything.
Okay. All right.
Which I don't think they would stop us, especially if we're gonna just be marching down the sidewalk wherever we're going.
Just moving through as
Yeah.
bystanders.
Yes, it's pedestrian, group of pedestrians. Yeah, and unfortunately, if I don't ask for permission to do the march, I won't be able to use a megaphone. So I'll just,
I have an idea to get around that.
what's that?
I think we should publish some kind of monologue on MP3 and have it all on our cell phones, and then start it at one moment, and then we can all read it at once with our voices at the same time in sync.
Okay.
It's just us saying something, but it's loud enough, circumvents the megaphone idea. Just a thought.
Like, give an example.
So like, if it's like, we like, so let's say, so it would be like, you know how, have you ever been to church? So you know how in church, how the pastor will read something to you and then you'll kind of repeat it back or something, kind of like that. It would be kind of like that. It would be read, right? And you'd be listening to it on your cell phone. It would be read to you. And then you would read it back at the top of your lungs. You would say it back at the top of your lungs. And then you listen to the next one, say it back at the top of your lungs. And we basically have like a time. It'd be like 4 o'clock, everybody press play, and we're gonna do it. Kind of like a flash mob.
Were you at the last march?
I was, yeah.
Were you toward the front?
No, I wasn't.
No. Did you see how? So let me see. I have a video from last year's march, and then maybe we'll just look at that and then see.
Well, it's like with last year's march, everybody could hear everything from the front, but the farther you got, behind people.
Yeah, we were in the back. We had no idea what was going on.
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about everybody in the march that is in touch on Facebook or whatever has the possibility of downloading that MP3 to their own phones. So everybody would be in sync. That's what I'm saying.
That's really sophisticated. And it's really.
Do you think it's really? Do you think that's very sophisticated?
Just to expect any more than 20 people to actually go through the work to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's simple, but I'm tech savvy, so that changes.
Could you do something like
Yeah,
just
wicked
have-
eyes of mine.
Could you
Right,
have
but
just something written? Well, no, I guess on the front would be hard to read. but-
Well, the way that I was thinking of last year, and I did it, it's something I never got to because I never even got confirmation that I'd be leading the march till like the last second last year. But the way I did it is I just had my piece of paper that had my chants. So then within, I think here to that refrigerator, maybe even as far as John Cooper easily, you can hear my voice if I really scream. So if we have a group as big as last year, I would say every single one of us are scattered amongst the march, and we are projecting our own different chants amongst the march.
I just think that, like, in my mind, there's this, like, something that would be super freaking weird and powerful about all of us saying this thing in sync. Like, just completely circumventing, like, time, space, speed of sound boundaries, of, like, preventing us from hearing and timing it, and just, like, saying it all at the same time, and it would just like rise up and be loud and be clear. I don't know. I just think it would be cool.
Something like you have a chant. Well, no, that would be hard too, but everybody says it at the same time. But no, like you have people in different parts of the crowd that have the paper, and they would say the chant, and everybody responds.
But what he's talking about is everybody
It's on the
saying the exact
phone.
same thing
It's on the
At
phone.
the same time, and it would be so loud that it would be louder than a megaphone.
Now, that's
But
because
that might be something, I mean, I don't know about on the march, but once we get to the rally point at City Hall, that's when we would be able to easier coordinate that. I'm just saying that just because I've tried to coordinate people having something on their phone or everybody have this thing. Like I even tried to coordinate everybody printing out this one certain thing for a meeting, and like I still had to bring them all. So
We tried that in the Occupy movement with the people's microphones. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't.
But when it worked, it was sweet.
Yeah, when it worked, it was clean. But when it didn't work, it was lackluster.
But what if it's like, what if that's the thing that we use to circumvent this whole like megaphone restriction BS that they put on us. We can't have a megaphone unless we pay them and tell them ahead of time. That's a big deal, you know? Like, if we can't speak through a megaphone, then we can't coordinate. We can't coordinate what's being said at the same time, and that's an impediment to what we're trying to do. If people got in the habit of like doing this kind of thing and realizing that if we're going to actually fight this thing, then we need to like use the tools at our disposal, then some people never will, but some people will, and they'll be excited to do it that way. And whether they do it the first time, fine, but then the second time they'll be like, oh, there were a couple people that had cell phones and they were in sync. Maybe next time I'll download the MP3 and I'll do it, you know?
I'm still having trouble wrapping my head around what's on the phone. Like, what does it say on the phone?
It's the phone. It's just like, so like, you know how you have a little speaker on your phone.
Oh, so you have an.
It's like a podcast.
You have a
It's like a
okay.
podcast almost.
Okay.
It's like someone reading. Like, it's someone reading you a manifesto, basically in digestible pieces. We, the people, think that GMOs, and we, the people, think that GMOs should not be blah 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 blah. There should not be blah 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 blah.
Okay.
You know, we're all listening. We started it at 4 o'clock. We're listening. We're all in sync across the board. Listening, reading back. Listening, reading back. Listening, reading back.
So it would be like
that is the people's mic, but the people's mic, you can't do it in motion.
You can't
Like,
do
Why not?
It's nearly impossible.
Because you can't.
Because the way that you'd have to do the people's mic in motion, let's just say we have a group of 100 people, the first 20 people would echo exactly what the dude's saying, and then okay, actually 2 parts. Let me say the first part first. What you're talking about isn't a chant. And when you're doing a march, you chant. You don't say stuff.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do it
Yeah.
the whole time, but you would have like, okay, we'll do the chants, and then when we get to City Hall, everybody at 4
Exactly.
o'clock hit this.
Exactly.
And then we're gonna do
at the City Hall. If we had
we're
like
gonna
1,000
beat it
people
off.
all in one spot, then it'd be like, we the people. First 50 people. We the people. Send it back. We the people.
Yeah, you don't have to do it like that if you have the phone. Like,
But if you have the phone,
everyone could just say it.
you could
Everybody
do it.
Well, how would you?
Everybody has their phone.
How would you start it though? Would you like do a countdown like 10, 9, 8, 7? Then when you get
You
to
could do
0,
it that
press,
way too.
something
You could
like
do it that way. You could do a countdown.
But you have to have everyone start at the same time,
Right.
otherwise it'll be.
And if everybody starts at the same time, even if everybody's a little bit off, it'll still work because you'll be hearing everybody. And you
Okay.
could even do that.
Well, let me put that in. We'll hold on to that idea, and then we'll just get back to. I'll put that underneath the march route. We'll get back to the event details. So we just get that in the books. Should be
Okay,
really
cool.
easy. Okay. So, back to location. Was there any objections to Deanza? Was there any?
Where's Deanza again?
On Speedway and Stone.
So it's not too far from there.
Well, it's the closest part that we're going to be able to get to downtown.
Those are high traffic roads.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
and it's
still
gonna
good.
be Saturday, and like I said, it's gonna be second Tucson Meat Show, which has like 10 to 20,000 people.
Because that Reed Park and just smelled like
Sorry about that.
It didn't make any sense.
Nobody
I
was
was-
there. We were marching. to nobody.
Yeah, pretty much. It was
That
actually.
was discouraging.
Yeah, it was a little hard, but I mean, I grew around a couple different roads, but
It was a cool event.
it
It
needs
was
to
a
be.
cool
It
party.
was awesome.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, they had a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
We had a lot of people there, but
What was this march for?
This is the last march.
The last march against Monsanto.
Oh.
Were you at it? You were at it, right?
No, I missed it.